one of the most powerful scenes in all of literature and in film is Frodo and Sam on Mount Doom. Frodo is carrying the burden of the whole world in his pocket, and he has within himself the strength, hopefully at this time, to toss that burden into its place of origin, the fire, and watch it burn away. And Sam, his best friend, one of the greatest characters in literature, just good, once again, good and strong. He says to Frodo, as Frodo's collapsing as he's approaching the fire, he said, "I can't carry your burden for you, but I can carry you."
Yeah.
And he picks Frodo up on his shoulders and walks him up to the fire. And then, there's a scuffle around the fire, which, is very interesting. There's a lot of symbolic imagery there that I think we could go into a whole podcast about.
Can today be like an 8-hour podcast?
Yeah.
I feel like we could keep going and keep going.
Yeah.
But would you say that's because I know that you're saying, like, I'm not going to force you into this, right? But I'm going to walk beside you. Is that a fair representation of the therapy process to Sam and Frodo? Like, in the moment, like, you cannot carry the burden, but you can be like the shoulder they can lean on?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Sam is one of my favorite characters of all time. Yeah, absolutely. It's a supporting role. And there is an important distinction, too, about ownership. Like, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. I can't do it for you, nor would I want to, or even try. That would be so harmful. And it would rob you of all of your power, the power in this, in wound healing. It's like we've seen it in all the Disney movies, like that moment where, like, death is reborn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking of Beauty and the Beast at the end when the beast becomes the man in that glorious moment. My wife made a funny comment the other day that she's been listening to some of the podcasts, and she's like, "Gosh," well, she said it in it's kind of a different way, but what she pointed out, let's say, was that kind of in some of our dynamics, like, Spencer, you bring up so many deep and thoughtful and rich, like, literature, and Jake, you bring so much of the kind of like light speed, pragmatic, rational and reasoned and thoughtful, speech and talk and conversations, and I bring up movies. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I've heard it said this way: "Hey, I can't take this from you." I learned this from one of my mentors at Onsite. Is kind of this idea of, she calls it "hold the sad," and she was like, "How big is?" And it's so incredible when you see this done. And she did it to me, and it was really powerful. And so she had me kind of come up with something that I'm really like, it's kind of like a wound, or it's something I'm really got a lot of sorrow about, or something like that. Or it could be big. It could be like, what hurts, And she goes, "How big is it? Use your arms." And so, I'd do something like that. And then she came right up behind me, and she put her hands right under my elbows, just gently, just like that. And she goes, "I can't take this from you, but I can help you hold it if you want." And it's like, because I'm not alone in it now.
Yeah.
And I also get it. Like Sam carrying Frodo, like, "Hey, I can't do this part for you. This is yours, but I can carry you." And so, yeah, I think that's such a beautiful picture of that. Is, I can't do it for you, nor do I want to, and that wouldn't be helpful. But I'll go with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be with you, and I'll walk you all the way to the door, baby, and see it. And I'll be the guy like hugging you and high fiving you on the other side. And anyone who's experienced a moment like that, that's what it's all about.